Hello and welcome to the Real Act, where we do TV, movie reviews, entertainment news, and so much more. As always, I'm Tucker, joined today
I'm
with Ethan
Ethan.
and Aiden.
Oh, okay, that was weird.
Wow, man, just absolutely. You silenced us, Tucker. This is a freaking patriarchy.
Yeah, why would you do that? You
They
always
don't get to speak this episode. It's just gonna be me. They just
We're
are
just
here to
sitting
listen.
here. We're just sitting here like.
All right, and today we got a WandaVision review. I'm very interested to see this because talk about this because there was a lot of
Mixed opinions.
different opinions. Mixed opinions on this show. So why don't we start out with the good? Let's start with the good first, and then we'll get into the bad because I got not a lot of bad, but a good amount of bad.
All right.
So Aiden, why don't you start us off with some good stuff you liked about the show?
First thing for me. So this is a much more personal thing for me, but like kind of like Wanda. Like as a kid, like me and my dad, we'd always watch like the Dick Van Dyke Show, the Andy Griffith Show. So I grew up on a lot of like old black and white shows like that. So I was really used to that, and I know that style very well. So like seeing, especially those first two episodes, I was like, wow, they really hit the nail on the head. And I think overall, hitting each different like genre, each different decade, I think they hit every single time. They did such a great job. Like when they had the episode on Malcolm in the Middle, I'm like, this feels exactly like it. Like with the kids talking to the camera, I'm like, this is perfect. And the whole intro for the 70s one that looked exactly like the Brady Bunch, I was like, this is amazing. And I think the worst intro, but I think it was the best because of it, was the 80s one. It was so cheesy and bad. I hated it. But I loved it because of that, because it was so cheesy. And the fact that they actually went the distance and they actually made the first two episodes in black and white, that they get a lot of credit for that from me, because that I would not have expected them to do that. I thought that was just something they put in the trailers, like, oh, it's in black and white, but it was going to be in color. When they actually had the first two episodes in black and white, I was like, okay, like from that aspect, I thought it was fantastic. But I just thought it was a really interesting show. I mean, we'll definitely get into it. It's not as big of a piece of the puzzle as we thought it was going to be, but overall I was still very satisfied with what we got. Like there's a lot of things that are like, oh, it's objectively bad. It's more of like, this was disappointing because we were expecting something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think having something different and fresh for once was definitely really nice coming from Marvel. It was really exciting going through the weeks as we slowly progressed through this mystery and the sitcom style, and it was super fun trying to piece together all these fun things that obviously eventually didn't even happen, but we pieced together all these fun things and tried to figure out what was going on. And that was really fun. Yes, the sitcom style was great. I loved the production design of the show. It's just really, really, really well done. I love the songs, like the intros and everything. And
the intros are fantastic. I mean,
and
like
Elizabeth Olsen kicked ass throughout all these episodes. Like
Paul Bettany though, episode 5 especially.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! And literally after I watched the episode, I just go back just to watch that ending sequence. I'm like, wow.
That's probably we'll go over that, but yeah. So it's really, really well done.
And a lot of the side characters too, like the actress who played Agatha, Norm, like all the supporting cast was really solid too. And like Tommy and Billy, once they got like old enough for like they're like kids, they're not just like toddlers. So like by the end of episode 5, going to like 6, 7, and so on, I like them a lot in that. Like even in the last episode, I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah, I agree, and I also like the supporting characters like Monica and
Jimmy Woo.
Darcy was okay. There were some acting problems for me here and there with her, but we'll go over the problems in the show.
But Jimmy Woo though makes up so much of that.
Jimmy Woo,
my man, Jimmy Woo.
And we'll have to keep an eye out for him because he might possibly get his own show.
I'm so pleased. Yeah. That'd be so fucking good.
It depends if Marvel gets a good pitch. Because they also probably wouldn't be that expensive either. I agree. I think the intros were very good. I love that it did feel fresh because by the end of Far From Home, I was worried that the MCU was it was getting repetitive, and honestly, during the pandemic, I realized like I'm kind of sick of what like I'm kind of getting a little sick of the MCU. I want something new, fresh, and different. And this was perfect. This is exactly what I was talking about. Something new and fresh because it was getting repetitive and it was
I
getting
mean,
boring.
even the show format alone is enough to mix up the MCU. Like,
Yeah.
just having
Yeah.
something that's a show and the week and this is the show. Well, the shows now. This and like The Boys season 2 are the two things I'm like, hey, you can have a show on a streaming service that's not just dropped all at once because like WandaVision would not work at all.
Well,
if you
and
dropped it all
Mando
at
too,
once.
obviously.
Yeah, no, Mando too. But like
was Mando.
WandaVision, so much of it is about the mystery. If you just dropped it all at once, it would ruin half of the show. Like it would not be as close as interesting of every week theorizing like who's Pietro, what's going on with that. Like I think it really uses that to its strength.
Yeah. Yeah. Loved Paul Bettany in this. Did a great job. I hope he gets more acting roles. Elizabeth Olsen, very good. I'm interested to see like, do you guys think she deserves to get nominated for Best Actress? And what would they put her in? Would they put her in just the regular like the Golden Globes? Would they put her in just the regular TV show category or the limited series? Because it did say series finale.
It's a mini series.
It's a limited series, obviously.
Yeah.
It'd be super weird if it got a season 2. Be like, why?
Well, Kevin Feige was like, never say, I've worked long enough here that never say no.
One story thing. If it's called Wanda,
I know.
Yeah.
Don't do season 2.
Well, that's the thing. That's interesting about Marvel is that for Marvel, you think they'd want to make more content, but the fact that it seems like almost every single show they're making isn't a show. They're limited series, like Falcon Winter Soldier.
It's only this and I believe
Secret Invasion.
Falcon Winter Soldier.
No, Loki. Sorry, I think Loki's also. Oh no, Loki. Sorry, Loki has season 2. So yeah,
Loki's getting season 2.
So Secret Invasion and WandaVision, I think, are the only ones so far that are.
Falcon Winter Soldier's gonna have a season 2.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna have a season.
Yeah, it seems like a show that would have a season 2, and they have not said that's a limited series.
That'd be weird if it was just a mini series. There are things that are like event series, like WandaVision. It's like it's a one story thing, so it's an event series. Anyway,
that'll be like Secret Invasion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I wish they would do is be like the one thing I have a problem with Disney Plus is they're not clear on what is like Lucasfilm and Marvel project. What is limited series? What is not? They're very confused.
Details of it and just kind of guess. Because like I mean, sure, WandaVision could get a season 2, but anyway, that's a whole.
Also, I will say, Disney Plus needs to get their servers fucking fixed.
Oh my gosh!
I forgot what episode it was. I stayed up and I watched it, and I'm like, it's like there's an internet issue. I'm like, my internet is fantastic. What are you talking about?
You have no idea the story I have for the finale.
Oh gosh, it's like the same problem me and Ethan had for D23 when we're trying to get what was it, like passes or something for like certain panels. Their servers just crashed twice, and the third time it was just it didn't crash, but it was absolute garbage.
Anyway, back on
Disney's horrible with that.
No, I think that the episodic release format definitely worked in favor. But we'll get into why I'm a little upset about it as well.
All right, yeah. So let's go out with the bad because thinking about it more and more, I do not like the series as much as I like the first 7 episodes.
Yeah, that's where I disagree. I still do. But...
really good, and I was like, oh yes, okay, I'm so excited for the finale. The finale ruined the show for me. It was a terrible finale. It left me with so many questions that were unanswered, and it just felt unconclusive. There were so many loose ends, and Kevin Feige did say recently that he doesn't want people who only watch the movies to be confused when they watch the shows. But I was like, well, what about White Vision? They will literally be so confused when they see White Vision. I don't understand what you are talking about.
It's funny because kind of my reasoning for not liking it as much is almost that it felt too conclusive because it felt like it wrapped up everything without setting up what should have it didn't. I mean, okay,
it didn't set up anything.
It doesn't necessarily need to, but this is an event series that's supposed to have it was supposed to take on a larger role in the MCU. And it's their fault for advertising it that way. Because if they just said this is a grounded series about Wanda and Vision, and it's just their story, then I wouldn't have been disappointed. I was expecting. Well, I mean, there are still problems. Like, yes, White Vision, and we've read the rumors about what they cut from the finale. It's like, come on, just delay it. Like, if you think it's gonna make
Yeah,
it,
like they finished the finale 2 weeks. I think that filming, right? I think they were talking about filming. They
Really?
finished filming 2 weeks ahead. They rushed this way too much. You can tell in
What
the
do you mean
finale
finished filming?
that this was rushed. There was so many stuff. There's so much information missing in this finale. You can tell it was rushed. And to the point that you were saying, Ethan, yeah. And also, what also kind of made it not good is like you put all these little subtle details and comments in the show that made you think this person might be coming, this event might be
It's not
happening, and they're like,
necessarily
nope, done. That's it.
it's
It's
not
like,
necessarily that. It's just that the show was constantly moving your expectations. And there's a quote from Matt Shackman. I think I put this on my story this morning, but there's a quote where he said like he regarding the Pietro thing. He said like, "Oh yeah, I think it was definitely really interesting to mislead people." And I'm like, "Well, yes. Don't get me wrong. As a story tool,
Yeah.
that is fun. When you earn it, you have to be able to come back
Marvel,
with
you can take both of these and go shove it up your ass for what you did to Quicksilver. Literally, I fuck you. Honestly,
I don't think I mind it as much as you do, but it's still definitely
I
was
absolutely fucking hate them for that. That was for a fucking boner joke. A boner joke. I wanted to throw something at my TV. I can't believe they did that for a boner joke. For a boner, it's so stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was definitely dumb. I don't mind it as much as you do, but it was
Well,
like
I think the thing is, I think the problem is that like the show in both regards was people thought it was gonna carry so much on its shoulder. Oh, we're gonna bring Doctor Strange and we're gonna create mutants. It's gonna bring in Tommy and Billy. Or they're gonna bring in Pietro. Like it's like whoa.
well,
like-
okay, but the thing is, I don't like when people say that it's the fans' fault for getting hyped up too much because
Yeah.
it's the story's job to progress the story in certain ways, and it alluded to so many things, and there are so many things that when you rewatch it will not make sense because you're
Yep.
like, this does not go
Not on
anywhere.
point.
What was the point of that? Like, sure, that misled us, but like, you still have to tie them in somehow. They can't just be there.
There, yeah.
Right? Like, yes, I agree. And I think Mephisto was a stupid theory in the first place. I mean, sort of halfway through the show, I was kind of like, okay, maybe it's possible because of all the things that they're hinting at. But like, when you look back on it, you're like, okay, I see where they're coming from now because there are a ton of like references sprinkled throughout that's totally building to something that just is like, oh, it was Agatha. Just like, well,
Even when
kinda
the
knew
whole like
that.
Agatha reveal, even when the whole Agatha reveal happened, I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, well, I was
Something
waiting.
else,
For the punch. I was like, all right, yeah, like we figured, like we.
well, I thought there was just literally if there was like one other thing, like if it was Agatha and that whole thing happened, if there was just one more thing, whether like either Tommy and Billy were actually real or like they revealed something about like White Vision, like doing something else, just one other thing, I would be completely satisfied. Because like
And
I will say though, like the White Vision and Vision like discussion, I fucking loved that. I'm like,
that was pretty cool.
I just love
But
the
I
fact
still
that,
feel like they left it too open ended for White Vision.
Oh
I
yeah,
think-
way
well,
too
well,
open ended.
Okay, but the thing is like,
You just
you
dipped.
well, I mean, yes, it's like you get it. Like, okay, White Vision
But
is
did
kind
he
of White
kill
Enough
himself,
Vision.
or
You
did
don't
he
really, you
Go
don't,
into
you
the
don't.
world.
I don't think we need to. The thing is, that's something
Well,
we
we're
don't
totally gonna
need
see
to
him again if
know.
you know
That's
it.
something we don't need to know right now. It's like if they told us everything about what he's going to do, it's like, well, then we don't need to know anymore. It's like,
Yeah,
no.
it's just frustrating because like sure we don't need to know, but you also need to inform us. You need to conclude his part of the
Yeah.
story.
Well,
was the
I
worst
think they gave it enough. Like, oh, like he has visions, memories. That's like he literally just I have vision.
But
Just
what's
leave.
his mission? What is he doing? Like we don't need to know what he's doing, but what is his mission? What is his goal?
Yeah,
Like,
I thought we were gonna, and they said that they filmed a bunch of stuff that was just cut out because they didn't have enough time to do VFX. Then delay the thing, dude. I
Yeah.
make the best possible thing you can, and then give it to us when it's ready. Don't rush it. I hate that. I hate that they cut a ton from the finale because they didn't have enough time to finish the VFX. Like, we had like Pietro said boner, and then she takes the necklace off, and he's like, oh, and that's the last time we ever see Evan Peters in the show.
That's true.
That's
It,
bad.
it was like it felt like Marvel punched. It was like if someone punched you in the nuts and then said it can't hurt that bad.
And then they kick
That's
you.
what it was like.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is like, for me, the show did a lot. Even though the finale is not fantastic, episode 8 really did a lot for me.
Oh,
Like
episode 8 is so spicy.
because one of the things, and I think that this show does very well. And when I've gone back, because I've watched some of the other Marvel movies as of the show concluding, like even going back and watching like Civil War or Age of Ultron, I'm like, I never really understood the whole Wanda and Vision thing. Like I'm like, okay, they're a
They
couple,
never
whatever.
provided context to like. It's the same thing with MJ and Peter in the MCU. I hate that they do that. Why can they just like have character progression? I don't understand why they
Well,
have.
I think it
jump
makes sense.
into it immediately, and then freaking Black Widow and Hulk. Stop happening. Like just if you're gonna do it, just convince us.
Well, I think it makes sense for Wanda and Vision because like
they
like,
fix that now, definitely.
I mean, for those movies, it's like that's not the focus of these movies. Like the focus of these movies is
Right.
defeating Ultron and like Civil War.
They can
like, that's the
still
focus.
allude to it. So those were things that I was like, oh, okay. I mean,
But
we
like in this show, like
They
even what like Darcy said later, she's like, I can really see you guys together. And like the first few episodes, I'm like, I really can see it. Like, and that
I
was,
hated when she said that though, because it was like, oh, as far as we know, Wanda's a sociopath who's trapping all these innocent people in this dome. But you know what? She's so cute, and you guys are just such a cute couple. And I hope you make it.
I mean, like, yeah, this show could have set up like it did not set up the multiverse whatsoever at all, and did not set up the
mean,
X gene,
kinda
which
does.
it should have. It clearly
It's
could.
not
like,
necessarily the show's fault; it's the advertising fault. Because
yes,
we were led
and
to
it's the things
believe-
that in the show that they put that
we were
led
led
us to
believe that it was going to spark a chain of events.
Yeah,
And it was really just a singular story that is like, but by the way, don't forget what's next. That's,
yeah,
that's
and
what
it's
was.
that, and then also just so many unanswered questions like, what did Agatha want with Wanda's powers? What's happening with
Don't
White
even get
Vision?
started on how bland.
What is
Agatha
happening
was.
with Wanda's children? Like, how is she hearing them? How are they coming back? That makes no sense.
Well, I think
all
that's-
these unanswered what are Monica's
you have that
powers?
multiverse
Jimmy
because
Woo and Darcy had nothing, like literally did nothing to the story. They were just there.
I mean, yes and no. It's like
I think
will
Monica
say-
didn't do that much to the story.
I will say that like one of the things that like I really appreciated, and when they cover in episode 5, I'm like, wait a second. So when Wanda goes to see Vision, because director Hayward told us that she took the Vision's body, and when she just leaves, I'm like, why aren't you taking the body? And I'm like, no way. So when she like just fucking creates him, I'm like,
that was probably
What?
my favorite moment in the entire show.
no, that's definitely one of my favorites. And like the thing that I'm interested about is like when Vision leaves the Hex, there are literally like flakes of him leaving, but it's like,
Yeah, and I was like, that. Why
So-
is that happening to his
so,
body?
so here's the thing: did she physically create like the vibranium again? Because they said he was tracing the vibranium, which implies that she literally just created more.
I think she did. I think was able to make this like this dome of strange reality to where she could do whatever she wanted within it, even though outside of it nothing is real, which in a way kind of makes sense because it's like, oh, in this dome I can do whatever I want, so I can create whatever I want. So she could technically, yeah, there are any like laws of physics or whatever, and whatever you want to do can work inside this dome. So she could just literally create vibranium, and bam, he's there. But like, I don't know. I think that they did a good job. Like, definitely, that was probably the biggest twist in the show, which is a bummer because I was expecting something bigger. I know some people don't like this, but I really wanted White Vision to be Ultron. That would have just been such a huge.
that
plot
would have been
twist.
so good if it was Ultron's
friend-
voice.
My friend made an edit, and it's so cool. And I almost like started like nerding out when I watched it because it was like a version of the scene where, I mean, they could have wrote it better to fit if they did this, but like when Vision like gives him or like unlocks his
Like
memories
touched him.
on White Vision, you just see Ultron's memories, and then his eyes turn red, and then he says, you are unbearably naive, and then he like leaves. And it's just
Oh,
like, oh shit! Why didn't
That
they
would've-
do that?
that would have been good. No, but
I
like
think
that,
I think that just would be because Ultron's a very powerful character, and I think
No,
just
but
leave
how
like
awesome
that would make me even more angry. I'm like, you're just gonna leave us on that? I mean, that's
Well,
a
if they
sucky
left
way
it
to
on
just
that, then
go.
yeah, obviously.
I
But,
mean,
like-
Ultron's a big character. He's not, Jimmy
No, but
Woo.
yes,
You
but
can't
at
just take
least
a
you
bye.
have
I'll
like
see you
a
later.
question that you really are like, okay, so like now you want to break out into theory, like, okay, what's going on?
So here's-
White Vision. I'm like, I don't care.
no,
He's gonna
here's
go-
the thing. Here's the thing, and I think after listening to all of this, I think here's the conclusion: is that this show did a good job of what it was trying to do, but
But
that-
they just made it was their fault for writing
but I'm
the
saying-
show in a way to raise our expectation. And what the hell was the actors like? Okay, Paul Bettany, I get it, that was funny, but like it's not funny to us. You can't say that. Like you can't be like, oh, there's this actor in the finale that I've been wanting to work with my entire life. He's just so great. And we're like, okay, who is it? That's really exciting.
no. The worst crime was the astrophysicist friend. I'm like, fuck you. Oh
Yeah,
my
and then
God.
like another unanswered question, like they made an emphasis on that. Like, see,
Yeah,
one thing that I
if
like the
there
show
wasn't
that
the-
is a good thing to leave for a film or the next TV show to answer is when they were talking about Carol Danvers and Monica just responds weirdly. That is a subtle thing you can do in a show to be answered the next thing. That is something you can do.
But
Other
she kept
things
being
like
oh, our
Monica's
guy, is over the
powers and
ridge.
all that.
Our guy, he's over there. He's almost there. 30 minutes. Blah 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 blah. Blah. We're like, who is it? Who is it? Oh, hi, Major Goodner. Hi, and it's like,
So I think that like the show never set up anything big enough to really want us to ask questions. Everything in the ending is just minute enough where we don't want to put in the effort of thinking about it. I think that's where we're at. But
I still like the finale as a conclusion to the story that is more grounded than we thought.
true.
It just didn't take the show in directions I think it could have, which is a bummer
Yeah.
because there was just so much they could have done with it, and it just turned out that it was just dealing with one.
I will also say though that like a lot of the things in terms of like the pacing and the filming of like they finished this episode 2 weeks ago. It's like I will give them some slack in the sense of like this is the first time Marvel has ever done this, like just this format at all.
Okay, I don't think that's true that they. I mean, I know that they finished the VFX 2 weeks ago. They didn't. They finished filming like months ago. They
Yeah,
don't.
no, because I didn't know if it was filming or, but regardless.
Oh no,
I
no,
just-
no. They were filming this year.
No, they were not. They filmed
were.
like years in advance.
No, they didn't.
For
I mean,
one,
now you're like,
they
now
started
you're
For
like-
WandaVision, no. They filmed this year. They were filming like I read an article online that they were rushing the show, that they were trying to get it done real quick. But no, they filmed this year.
they filmed right after D23.
No, they were finishing filming this year. You can look it up. The actors are on set wearing masks and stuff. That's why I know.
So it says here. It said
Well,
they
yeah,
started
but-
they started in November of 2019 to March 2020, and they went from September 2020 to November 2020.
Yeah, so it was.
That's enough time. I mean, I guess depends how many people you have working.
Okay,
on
we
it.
also got to keep in mind
VFX,
the show was
VFX.
supposed to come out like 4 months ago.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
I think this is just a lesson for Marvel, like, and this also happened with Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's like, stop filming like, you guys gotta like film these like in advance because they're filming just.
I think
Close.
they're starting to learn that. I think they're starting to learn that, and like I said, I will give them some slack at least for like these first two because, like I said, this is kind of their big.
You could tell though in the finale, like some of that VFX was like.
Yeah, even the
the-
story in general,
the-
it just
no,
it felt like
the biggest,
very.
the biggest thing that I could tell the VFX was when it was like Hayward and the other one looking at the hex. It was like this weird shot of like it looked like Hayward were like in the background. It was really strange. I don't know how to describe.
One of the
it,
weird
but-
ones was when Wanda like whacked Agatha and she was just like, ooh, it was weird looking.
That's
Okay,
true.
you know what we didn't talk about? Because I do want to talk about this. Because this, like, we went over our positives and our negatives, but we got to talk about how badass, and you can't deny how badass Wanda's new outfit is. Like, holy crap. That
I
was,
really
is.
like
It's
it.
good.
I
It's
really
that was
like it.
really cool.
I gotta say though, like they did a really good job of like, even though you trying to sympathize with Wanda because you know Wanda, you're like, man, you are an asshole. Like, wait, she's like in this like godlike pose. This is all
You
like,
cannot deny that was like Dark Phoenix.
no, it was like, it was
It was
totally,
totally a
remind me.
reference to Jean Grey. It was totally a reference. I saw some side by sides on Instagram this morning, and I was like, that is extraordinarily close. Like, there's no that was a reference image. There was like, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And Dark Phoenix never got the justice. So this, in a way, I feel like is kind of going to be like the Dark Phoenix. I know that they didn't quite set her up as much of a villain as I thought they were going to, but she's still totally the villain.
but she's not a good guy anymore.
No, because first of all, everyone hates her, and second of all, she hears
Rightfully
her
so.
multiverse, so she's gonna go get them, and Doctor Strange will not be happy. Also, did you guys hear the rumor that Doctor Strange was also cut from the show, like he was in the finale? But
Really?
Yep.
Okay, they rushed this show way too much.
Yep.
This.
Like, why would you hire Benedict Cumberbatch to come on over and film a scene? And you're like, oh, sorry, Benedict Cumberbatch, you're not gonna get your. Like, why would you do that? But I hate that.
But
Also,
sorry.
the other we forgot to talk about the other after credit scene, the scrolls. That's pretty cool. I think they're setting up Captain Marvel too.
I like the implications of that. Like, it wasn't huge? Or, oh my god! But like, that's like, oh okay, like that's really interesting. Well, especially because now that Monica has powers. Well, because if I interpreted that correctly, she's going to talk to Fury, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the space station.
You
Yeah,
couldn't
from
just say his name. I mean,
But I think that's kind of confirmation now that that's not Sword, because they never specifically said
it's
that
not.
Sword was
don't
the
think it
space
is.
station in space. That we just guessed that. But now that we've actually seen Sword, like I don't think that's what Nick Fury's working for. So
No, I
Yeah.
don't think Fury's working for Sword. I almost said shit. Sword.
I think he's working for some scroll. Like he's just with the scrolls right now. He's just hanging out, which is cool. I love the scrolls. And I hope that we get more Ben Mendelsohn in the movies because I love Ben Mendelsohn.
Sure.
No, he's in.
well, he'll be in Secret Invasion.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's do letter grades, guys. I'll give you your letter grade. Aiden, why don't you go first?
There's a lot of things I really did like, and
Yeah,
I keep
no,
saying-
we kind of like for a lot of this review, we kind of took a shit on it. But like to be fair, when we're reviewing stuff, for the most part, we're just gonna be like specifically critiquing because it's just easier to tell you what we don't like than rather what we do like. But that doesn't necessarily mean we don't like it more than we do like it.
I'd say I'm gonna give it a B. I was gonna give it a B minus, but like just a flat B, I'm comfortable with. Because they did commit some war crimes with Evan Peters, with the whole astrophysicist thing. But there was a lot of things I did like, just the style, the set design, the costume design, everything to fit every era was spot on. So yeah, for me it's a B.
It was a really good idea. It was a really, really,
It was fucking bold. I was like, okay, they're going
I'm
for
glad that Marvel took this risk. I'm just bummed that it didn't do what I think it could have done. I'm not like a whiny fanboy who wanted Mephisto. I don't care. I promise you that I don't care that Reed Richards didn't show up or that Mephisto. Like that's not why I'm mad. I'm just mad.
Yeah, that's not why I'm mad either.
Yeah,
The Reed
I'm
Richards
not-
things, I was kind of like, too. Yeah.
Right. I'm just mad that they alluded to something bigger on a bigger scale, and it kind of just ended on something that just felt like it turned it into a more grounded story, which nobody was really expecting. So again, it's kind of on fault on the writing there.
Yeah.
I think I'm also gonna give it a B, just a flat B. I really like throughout the show, I was like, this is like A Marvel tier, like almost A at least.
Episode like really.
When we were at episode 5. I was like,
5 is A plus. That's like the best. 5 or 8 are like the best episodes.
oh yeah, 5 and 8. But like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a whole, I was like, I could see this being like A minus. This is really good. This is like really excellent.
6 and then, like it's really only 9 because like 6, 7, 8 I all really liked.
The thing is that Pietro showing up was the biggest surprise, and I thought that it was just gonna keep going, but it didn't. So it's just the writing, man. The writing just did not do it justice because it just got out of hand with what they were misleading and what that actually paid off. So
Sure.
yeah, I'm gonna give it a B.
Yeah, kind of the same what you were saying. Kind of what you were saying, Ethan. It was not, like I was not expecting Reed Richards to show up. I was telling Ethan that, like, I
There's no way they could have
highly,
kept that under wraps. There's
highly
no
doubt.
way.
Yeah. I was like, they would have announced that casting already. And I was like, why can't it be any other Fantastic Four members? They're all smart. I mean, it
They
could be
could have
any
been.
one of them.
It's just
But
Chris
I knew-
Evans as Human Torch.
That makes total sense. Yeah, it's just so many unanswered questions. It just felt like the show made more questions than answers. Like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but like they left a lot of unanswered questions
exactly.
that
And
could have been answered.
When we were on episode 8, we're like, I just don't understand, because even at the time of episode 8, we thought the finale was going to be like an hour and a half. So we were like, I don't understand how they can answer all of our questions in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, the finale was 50 minutes, and they answered like 25% of our questions. So that's like a pretty good like
but then made 25% more questions.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's
just like
it just made me so frustrated with the show because I loved episodes 1 through 8. I thought they were fantastic, something different. And then the finale just slapped you in the face and said, nope, you're not getting any answers.
It's just a bummer because then when you rewatch 1 through 8, it's not going to be as special because it doesn't have the payoff because when you have excellent buildup, it's excellent. When you have a payoff that absolutely sucks, where's the payoff going? It doesn't go anywhere. So now it's just kind of tumbled. It doesn't mean it's not good. It's still very good. It's just doesn't really know where it's going anymore. So it's a bummer. That's like, again, I still like the finale for being a conclusive ending to the show. I just don't like how they completely misled us constantly, and it was just very disappointing.
So what's your grade, Tucker?
I'm gonna have to give it a B-. It was it's almost unrewatchable too. Like I don't even think
I disagree with that. I
disagree.
No,
I don't know if I
think it's very rewatchable. In fact, I would argue it's more rewatchable than a lot of like shows that are coming out. Like, this is a disagreement that Tucker and I have. I'm
roughly.
Not sure. I don't think Falcon looks too good. I think it looks kind of bland. I'm excited.
I'm so excited for that.
I was way more excited for WandaVision. I'm excited for the original stuff they're doing. So like, WandaVision, I was super excited for. Loki looks okay. I need to see more. Shang-Chi. Whew, that was really exciting. And then the Eternals. I cannot wait for the Eternals. So I'm excited for the risky stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Can you just give us a suit reveal at least for Eternals? It's getting so freaking annoying already. Like, no teaser, no trailer, and no suit reveal. It's ridiculous.
Well, to be fair, they can't do that because they can't start their marketing campaign until they're sure.
Well, they can give us a suit reveal at least. I mean, it's a
that.
suit reveal. Like, it'll get us at least somewhat interested. It's coming out in 9 months?
We don't know. Everything right now is just so it could change. I mean, as of right now, it's getting better, which is good, but that's another conversation.
Yeah. So that was our WandaVision review, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you stay tuned for next week. We will be posting our Gina Carano discussion, which was kind of fun. Interested to see what you guys think. What you guys think of that situation. Make sure you follow our Instagram.
Wait, really quick. Speaking of Gina Carano, I thought it was so funny. I was at the store the other day.
Oh God.
And I was at a 7-Eleven of all places, and they had one pop, and it was Cara Dune. I was laughing so hard. I was like,
a single pop just sitting on the fucking
show. No, it was a single pop, and there was like there's like Takis and whatever. But then there was just one pop on the top, and it was just Cara Dune. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, they don't want to sell it.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I wouldn't even pay a penny for that.
Hey, I got mine for Christmas, so I don't have that.
But until then, guys, stay safe, be safe. Still wear a mask, even though some people are getting vaccinated. Still got to wear a mask. Make sure you be safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.